Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is actually quite warm in here today. Today I'm going to do a little bit of an update because I haven't posted in about a month and it has been the hardest month of my life. And okay, so this is going to be quite hard for me to film and probably going to be multiple takes, but we're going to give it a go. So I thought I would give you an update on what has been going on over the last month so that I can sort of try to move forward somehow and get back into the routine of posting. I am currently in New Zealand, and some of you may recognise this as my mum's greenhouse. My dad has been quite unwell for the last 6 months, and a lot of tests, a lot of biopsies, scans and everything, and we ended up finding out that it was about the end of June we found out that he had lung cancer, and so I booked my flights to come home, and things sort of rapidly went downhill from there. So I had to get a quick flight back to New Zealand, and 10 days after I landed here back home in New Zealand, my dad actually passed away. So basically the whole of July has been horrible. It's been very emotionally draining, and so I have just stepped back completely to spend time with my family and move through this really hard time in my life. So that is the update. I don't know how long I'm going to be here in New Zealand, but I'm just staying here as long as I need to be here, where I feel like is right for me. But I need to get back into making videos. It is what I love to do. I love growing food. Gardening is the best type of therapy for me, so I'm going to get back into the garden today. I'm going to show you what I'm going to plant here in my mum's garden, so that she has lots of nourishing, healthy foods to eat. And yeah, my dad was my #1 fan. He watched all of my live videos. He shared with all his friends. He pestered them into following me and liking my photos and everything. So I definitely want to continue to make my dad proud and make these videos, and because he was a huge inspiration to me. He was very creative. He was a photographer, he was a sculptor. I will show you some things from around their house that he has made. He's put so much love and care into making this property really inspiring. Every corner is a work of art, and he was a huge nature lover. He loved birds, he loved drawing birds, being out in nature. You know, he always had his camera. He was not great at technology, but he still had managed to make a secret Instagram profile so that he could watch my stories, he could like my posts, and there is just no doubt that he was proud of me and the work that I was doing. So that is a special gift that I get to keep forever, and I want to get back into making these videos. So if you are new here, there is going to be lots more videos on growing food, and if you've already been along for this journey with me, then I can't wait to get back to connecting with you all and growing food. So today we're going to get our hands dirty. We're going to start planting some things and growing some more food. So it is winter here in New Zealand, and my brother and I went to town and bought a whole bunch of seedlings to put into Mum's garden. We are already quite well into the season, and so planting seedlings is the best thing to do when you are in the middle to the end of the season, because they will have time to get established and produce food before we start getting hit with our spring and summer season. So I've chosen some specific things that are pretty quick to grow, and they are also things that can be harvested and eaten throughout the growing process, so we don't have to wait till the very end to harvest the food. So we have hopefully so we have some pak choi, and I love growing pak choi because you can eat it as it grows, and you can also cut it off and leave the roots in the ground and it will regrow, so you can get multiple harvests off each plant. So although there's only 6 plants in this tray, there will be maybe even 5 harvests off each plant, so there's a whole lot of food. I also have some all year round cauliflower, and so this variety can handle some of the heat, so it should be still alright to be growing if the weather warms up in the springtime. The climates here are, I don't know, like at the moment they feel somewhat similar to Perth. Our temperatures are similar. We are in around 14 degrees Celsius and dropping down. The lowest I think it's been around here is about 8 degrees Celsius. But we have had so much rain. I have been inside for way too long. This is the first day that it's not a entire storm. So the gardens are going to be a bit soggy, but we are coastal here. We're in Northland and we are close to the beach, so the soil is very sandy, which is similar to my gardens in Perth as well, so I'm used to that sandy soil. Mum and Dad have put a lot of work and a lot of years into building soil. They have compost, chickens, they have worm farms, so their veggie patch is rich with healthy, nutrient dense soil, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just get planting straight in there. We also have some broccoli and sugar snap peas. Gotta have peas, they're my favourite things to eat. And got some tender crisp celery. So celery is a really good one to grow because you can harvest off it stalks off the outer edges as it grows, so you don't need to be harvesting all the celery at once. You can just, you know, start to harvest a little bit here and there, which is going to be really good for my mum to do. So we've got that. And then, I mean, it wouldn't be a garden that I was planting if there wasn't edible flowers. So we've got some calendula here. This is a really good edible flower. The leaves are also edible and you can pop them in a salad. Edible flowers are just a no-brainer because they attract pollinators to the garden, which is going to help produce more fruit and vegetables. Also brings in a lot of beneficial insects and biodiversity, so I always like to plant edible flowers in any garden that I'm doing. And calendula also have a lot of healing properties, so they are really good anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, so they're used in a lot of balms and salves and moisturizers and skincare. We also have some snapdragons. Snapdragons are edible flowers. They don't taste like anything, but they're very bright, vibrant, and add a lot of colour to the garden, as well as attracting our beneficial insects. And probably one of the first things I did when I got here was I planted some seeds. And again, no winter garden would be complete for me without having rainbow chard. So my mum has quite a lot of chickens, and she does have some chard in the garden that she likes to feed her chickens, but I did plant some seeds That one's looking a bit sad and snapped off. So yeah, once the rainbow chard have a few extra leaves, then I'll plant these out in the garden, and hopefully Mum will eat it and not just feed it to her chickens. The chickens are definitely the #1 priority around here. They get the royal treatment. So yeah, you're probably going to see a lot more videos from this space, this greenhouse, and the gardens around here. There's so much to show you. There's a lot of inspiring things in their garden, and if you can't wait and you want to see more from this greenhouse, then I do have a video that I made last time I was home, so I will pop the link to that if you want to see a little bit of the behind the scenes and making of this amazing greenhouse, which is all made with recycled windows, and she's got lots of different knickknacks and treasures that she's collected over the years. And yeah, let's go out to the garden and plant some food, get our hands in the soil, and get back to nature. So Mum likes to plant her veggies in little patches, so she has all her, you know, broccolis in a patch, but today we are mixing it up, and I've convinced her to go a little wild, so we're going to plant them all randomly throughout the garden.
You know, like put one there, and then how do you be random? I don't know how to be random.
So here we have Mum's little straight rows of lettuce, and then I've convinced her, so we've got broccoli, cauliflower, celery, snapdragons, peas. We've built this little structure for the peas to climb up. Little celery, and again in here we've got a patch of chard, and then we have snapdragon, what is that one, a bok choy, celery, calendula, snapdragon. So there'll be lots of flowers in between here, as well as some tall celery in the middle. And over here in the space we planted a celery on the corner. We have a bok choy or pak choy here, and a calendula for some flowers, with a existing patch of onions, lemon balm, some passion fruits that grew out of the compost that we're going to train up this archway, and again on the side more compost volunteers. So all the gaps are filled now, and soon, if we can get rid of this rain, this is just going to be a whole bunch of different colours and food, and a little bit wild. We have random planting, we have edible flowers, broccoli, cauliflower, pak choy, what else have we got? Lettuces, peas, snapdragons, all the things. And there's still space, there's still some space for planting. So we have the rainbow chard, which we're waiting to plant on, and then maybe, I think Mum wants to do like a teepee with some beans, so we've got space for that as well. And we've found a few random seedlings that have popped up from the compost. So I've found one which I think is a mandarin. I picked one of the leaves and it smells just like mandarin, so it's definitely a citrus. So I've put a little cage around that, and then I can dig that up and plant it not in the middle of the veggie patch. And I also found one which I've already planted up, which I think is a macadamia tree, because Mum and Dad do have a macadamia at the back of the property, and so some of those seeds may have ended up in the compost and, I don't know, grown. So free plants, we love that. We love that about composting. And as you can see, the soil is super rich and healthy from all of their composting. I mean, this should be pure sand based on where we are located, but it's nice and rich. It's got heaps of worms, heaps of organic matter, and it's going to grow. These veggies are going to take off, and I'm sure just a few short weeks we'll be eating food. And from the supply of saved sticks and logs and whatever else, bean teepee, and before I go, I definitely will have to show you the pineapples. My grandpa started growing pineapples from the tops of the pineapple years and years ago, and so when my grandpa passed away, he passed those on to my mum and dad, and so we have a whole little pineapple grove in here in the greenhouse, and even one fruiting upstairs, so I'll have to show you that too.